From Washington, D.C., Roland Martin. Good morning.
Tom Joyner, Sybil, and Guy Torrey. Good morning. I'll be hopping on a plane in a few hours to fly to Detroit for the homegoing of the Queen, Aretha Franklin. Of course, thousands have been lined up all around the block for her viewing, Tom. They had a photo of her. The Queen was decked out, Tom.
Those red pumps?
Red pumps. Last night, the Deltas had their Omega service for the Queen. And and the funeral service, Swanson Funeral Home, said there will be a change of clothing.
Oh,
really?
I called it, didn't I?
Yes. No, seriously. They said there will be multiple. The Queen will have multiple change of outfits.
All right.
Wow.
Today, tomorrow, and Friday.
Yes.
That's how you do it,
That's
Queen.
how you do it. That's
Queen,
how you
she
do it.
cannot wear one, just the no. There will be multiple outfits. Just wanted to let y'all know that.
One of those includes one of her furs.
I do
Don't know.
too.
I'm just letting y'all know. I read it in the
to.
Detroit Free Press, Swanson Funeral Home. They said it's a surprise, but there will be multiple change of outfits for the Queen of Soul.
Are you going to be live streaming?
They're still trying to work on that.
So we have him.
So we're working on it. But last night, big news.
Night. Yes.
There's a song by LL Cool J says, "Don't call it an upset." In the song, Mama Say Knock You Out. And Democrats Philip Levine, Gwen Graham, Jeff Green got knocked out by Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum last night as he won the Florida Democratic primary with a fierce ground game. He joins us right now.
Yeah.
Andrew Gillum, how you doing?
All right.
Yes.
I'm doing well, man. You can
bet you
imagine.
are.
I'm a little bit above the clouds right now, but quickly coming down because we got a race to win on November 6th. But I had to get on with y'all this morning because were it not for your platform and the opportunity to speak directly to voters, I know that I would not be here today. This just speaks so voluminously about the power of this medium that you all hold to connect with people and to bring to them the issues that confront their everyday lived experiences. So I just want to thank you all for that. It was critical to us being able to communicate.
And when we say critical, first of all, in all of the pre-election polling data, the best they had you was at 16%. But in the last week, you were like that person who got the baton, and the other cats were about 30 yards in front, and we call it they got sucked up.
Look, man. Look, they spent collectively the other four a little bit north of $90 million.
No. Hold on. Let me read this. Philip Levine spent $37.7 million. Jeff Green, $34.7 million. Gwen Graham, $16.3 million. Chris King, $7.8 million. Andrew Gillum, $6.6.
Wow.
Yeah. No, you got it. I mean, all I can say is, but God, we were prayerful and thoughtful about every step of the way here. But I tell you, it was everyday folks, regular folks who just rose up in such an amazing fashion to say, you know what, we deserve our seat at the table, that we're tired of being on the menu. And y'all know the phrase well, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And in our case, we got out there and we spoke directly to voters about repealing Stand Your Ground, around making sure that people can earn a wage that they can live on, around treating healthcare like a right and not a privilege. We didn't shrink from what we believe. We didn't shrink from our values. And I'm not going to shrink forward as we go forward in this general election to ensure that we give the fuel, the purpose, the mission, and the enthusiasm for our voters to get out there and vote like we've never voted before. We did it yesterday.
You did.
We had historic numbers, and we can do it again this upcoming November 6th.
Ground game. You put your resources there. You had people. First of all, let me thank Latasha Brown, as well as all the folks with Black Votes Matter. They were on the line, and so I told them. I said, Tom always has this phrase, "star power." So they got bumped, but I'm gonna have y'all on in 2 weeks. But it was the ground game, door to door, precinct by precinct, not trying to win this thing over the TV airwaves.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. And honestly, that's going to be the strategy that carries us through. If nothing else, we have to recognize that the amount of money that people spend on television, no knock to TV, there is quite a bang for the buck that can be gotten on the ground and digital. And I'll tell you, the underground network of communication is still alive and well. I refer to it as sort of the Harriet Tubman method. right? Even when they could not use the strength of their voices to communicate, people knew they had to get free. And so we organized and we communicated, and we, even if it was through a hand or a gesture, got the message out that it was time to go and vote. And people responded to that very well in this state. And we're going to have to magnify that and, quite frankly, upgrade that as we enter into the November 6th election. We got a quick 10 weeks. It may feel like an eternity, but it's going to go quickly, and we got to make sure that people are vote ready, that they are rehearsed on this thing. As we said when we spoke yesterday, politics, government, this is not a spectator sport. It requires our intentional engagement through our vote, through our organizing, through our giving. Now I've got to quickly figure out how to raise $70 million, y'all.
Well,
and so
that's my question, Roland, and
Mayor Gillum.
Mayor Gillum. Is the Democratic Party going to put the money behind you for governor? Will we see you on TV here in Florida?
Absolutely. We expect that we'll be all over television, all over radio, and all over the doorsteps, making sure that folks know that we're in this race. But listen, it doesn't happen magically, Tom. You know this. We've got to make sure. My mom was on a rotational contribution of $20 every month, and she would call me to make sure it came to my account and not somebody else's, right? So it's that kind of support. If you've got $20 to give, do it. The $3,000 is a maximum, but give what you can. Sow a seed, however, into this race. We can't let other folks outdo our giving. Right? We got to make sure that we get in there and we put something on it ourselves. And so my ask to folks is that if you want to see this real, come to reality, come November 6th, we got to put our money where our mouth is and make sure that we sow a seed into it. And so we've been asking people to visit us at andrewgillum.com and help us get to that goal number and bring this win home on November 6th.
The maximum is how much? 3,000?
3,000 per person per entity, yes, sir.
That
Okay.
which goes to the campaign, but then of course
It
you
goes
have
directly to the campaign.
but you have Tom other entities like, for instance, Tom Steyer, his organization, where he gave $1 million, but he put his money into his organization, and they turned out folks on behalf of Andrew Gillum, and he didn't have the same campaign limits.
And that's the same. And that's exactly what. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So the 3,000 goes to the campaign. That's the limit to
That's right.
Andrew's campaign. But there are going to be other organizations that will be doing their own campaigning. So, for instance, even Black Votes Matter, Cliff Albright, Latasha Brown, to drive voter turnout, their deal is also separate. Dates also important. October 9th, Andrew, is the deadline to register to vote in November.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. And I'll just say Collective PAC came in strong for me as well. They were on the ground. They were organizing. I'm telling you, the sophistication that is developing on our side is something to behold. All of those entities have come in to help.
And also, you're talking about getting people who are formerly incarcerated and giving them the vote.
That's
there are
right.
a lot of people that are.
That's on the ballot as well.
That's right. Amendment 4, automatic rights restoration.
Yeah.
Again, folks, and if you did not, in Florida, if you did not vote yesterday, doesn't matter. It all restarts. You can vote in November. So we'll have those details. Andrew Gillum, first of all, you probably haven't got much sleep. Congratulations.
If any.
Doing lots of media.
We're going to sleep in shifts, y'all. We're going to sleep in shifts. We got to win.
And we're
Folks,
with you. Congratulations. Son.
Man, it feels
All
good
right,
to be
y'all.
in
Thanks for
Florida
everything.
today.
God bless y'all.
And thank you for coming back to Black Radio to say thank you when national media wasn't calling. Thanks for coming back on the Tom Jordan Morning Show.